Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Anne Mara, talking to you from my home in Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm welcoming some of our American guests and a nice turnout for South Africa. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your Sunday to join me for this very interesting webinar. Okay, so basically, we all struggle with recruiting. And so we're going to focus on recruiting tonight. And okay, so we get to that point where we don't know what it is exactly that we need to say to recruit prospects. Okay, so the bad news is you've probably already gone out there and made a fool of yourself and in how you presented the opportunity, and that's okay. We've all done that, believe me. Okay, the best approach is to forgive yourself and let it go. And there's nothing that we can do about the past except learn from now. But the good news is, starting today, your recruiting results can change. Okay, so getting someone to agree to take a look at your business and your product and actually follow through is a skill. And it's a skill that can be learned by each and every one of you, and it can be taught to every person in your business, and you will see how crucial this is tonight. So I'm going to kick off tonight by asking you a simple question, and I want you to interact with me on your screens. There is a text box that you can type in some questions, or you can say how you feel, and it would be really great if you can participate, because we want to get some of that interaction going. Okay, so my question to you is, how would you feel if literally you stopped getting rejected and started recruiting at least 2 people a week every week? How would you feel? I mean, would that make you feel great? Can I see some response from you? Would that make you happy? Can you imagine if you just stopped getting rejected? Do you think that's even possible? Okay, so Sue thinks it's wonderful. Everyone thinks it's motivating. Of course it is, because, you know, you don't want to feel those downs, and you don't want to feel beaten and those lows, and you get frustrated. I mean, that would be, you know, we want to get rid of all of that. And I feel that this is a big deal, okay? What we're going to talk about tonight is really a big deal. And, well, let me just tell you this. I've met people in the network marketing industry who've told me that they don't get rejections, okay? So that is astounding. In fact, most of the time they go for long periods where there's absolutely no rejections. Now, I'm sure that just hearing that frustrates you, because most of you, if not all of you, have come across situations where there's been rejections. And so we've all suffered those rejections. So how do they do it? So I'm going to tell you why and how this happens tonight. And I don't think that there are many people out there that have told you why, because let me tell you, this does actually happen. Okay, so over the last couple of years, well, all of you probably know my story. I didn't know where the next cent was coming from at one stage in my life, and let alone, you know, rushing over to America 2 or 3 times a year. I couldn't go on vacation, and I knew that one day I'd have to pay for my kids' studies and their weddings and da-da-da. So you know what life is like when you're looking for the cheaper prices and you're looking at the price tags, and I'm sure that a lot of you can relate to this. And so you know my story. Well, now it's not like that anymore. And every day it's getting better with less focus on the money. And this is how it can be for you. And you can accomplish these amazing things. So here's the thing. If you follow what I'm going to give you tonight and you really get it, then you can turn, this whole concept will turn your whole life around. Don't think that your current situations are surrounding you or defining you or imprisoning you, because they're not, and they don't have to. You just got to let go of that stuff, okay? So if you want to if you have a big vision for 2015, then what you have to do is learn the basics of recruiting people. And I'm going to talk about this tonight with some stuff that will surprise you and at the same time excite you. So I want to tell you, at one stage, my goals were actually focused on me. And now I don't know how that sounds, but it's actually not that bad when you're coming from this total destructive area. Okay, what I see a lot of people, what a lot of people do is they're broke and they're living check to check and they don't have abundance in their life, and yet when you ask them what are their goals are to help everyone on the planet and to save everyone from everything. And honestly, at this stage of the game, if you're really living check to check, you really have to kind of get a little selfish and really concentrate on yourself. Because if you're so stressed about paying your own bills, there's a major shift that's needed to happen. And in the beginning, you should really just think of yourself and get this internal shift going. And we can talk about this another time. But for now, the reality is, and this is a big one, okay? This is huge. I mean, tonight, some of you are going to take the blindfolds off for the first time. And let me tell you, there are so many recruiting books out there, and I've bought many of them, but nowhere in any of them do they tell you this, okay? What I see in network marketing is that most people hear something that is great, okay? And they hear a script, and that sounds fantastic. I mean, some of you have been to conferences. I've been into America to the conferences where the guys get up on the stage, and they're so dynamic, you know, and then you hear these scripts, and you think, oh, gosh, that's fantastic. And so they go out, and people use, some guy will tell them that this is the script that I use to recruit 20 people. So they go out, they use it, and it doesn't apply to them, and it doesn't work. Okay, so let me ask you this question. Have you ever heard a script that sounds really good? I mean, has anyone on this webinar tonight have heard a script or read a script that you're using tonight, yesterday, last month, you were using it in your business to grow a business? Can I have some answers on the question little text box? Is there anyone that has a really good script that they're using that is working for them? Okay, obviously not, because nobody's answering. Okay, so let me take a step back here. There's nothing wrong with the scripts, okay? What's wrong is not knowing them to a degree, and you sound like you're reading the script, and also relying on the script to do the listening and connecting for you, and that's the problem. There's nothing wrong with the scripts, and it's how people use the scripts that are bad. So scripts in themselves are not bad. If you want to train your team on scripts, then that's great, but how you use the scripts is what is important. The problem is, unless you understand differentiation, unless you understand that, then the scripts may not apply to you. So here's the thing. People haven't been trained on closing, let alone on what to say, okay? How to lead the prospect, how to open up the very first the conversation. The other thing there's a lot of information out there on recruiting that doesn't work for most people. I would imagine that in a standard networking marketing audience or on a webinar or at an event, only about 5% of the people in the audience can use any script and it would work. So the reality is that a lot of stuff out there on recruiting doesn't work for most people. And by most people, I mean 80 to 95%. So 80 or 90% of training out there is good only for 5% of people, and that is the problem. And I'm going to share with you exactly what I mean. So if you don't understand right now what that's about, don't worry, we will get there. Okay, so I mean, all of you know that there's a huge amount of books out there. Even I started reading recruiting methods and different recruiting scripts, and it just all is overwhelming, because you still never know, because we focus on that exact thing, the script. Okay, so this is what I'm going to go over. I'm going to give you exact scripts that you can use. Isn't that cool? Oh, we've got a live audience here. We're going to get some participation. Is that cool? You're going to get some scripts that you can use that will really work. Okay. And so I'm really serious here. I'm going to give you exact scripts that are based on you. Okay, I won't have time to go through them in a way that if they say this, then you must say this, and if you do that, then this must happen. But I'll give you the opener that will at least open the door that is customized for you and your history. You see, this is one thing that no network marketer, besides one that I know of, talks about, and that is your history. They'll teach you, for example, let me talk about your product, let me talk about your comp plan, let me talk about who you're talking to, but no one asks you about you and your history. And I think that this is a big part in the industry that is missing. So I'm going to show you also a bit of follow-up. I'm going to give you a bit of follow-up help. So let's dive in. Okay, first of all, it's not your fault if you've struggled with your warm market. I think that at some point or other, we've all struggled with our warm market. We don't know the reason why, but no one has taught us about differentiation. Every single network marketing teaches from the same viewpoint in all of their prospecting. Okay, now what I'm going to tell you tonight will blow your mind, because you're going to see what a big deal this is. You're going to see why some of those scripts that the top earners have shared with you don't work for you. And it's okay, because the way I see it is that we know what we've been taught, and we see it working for others, and therefore we feel that it should work for us. And that's sort of common sense. But no, there is some small factor that has been left out. And this is what I'm going to be talking about tonight. Okay, we're going to talk about the truth. This is a statement that was made by Eric Worre. You are either punished or rewarded for what you did before network marketing. Now, I didn't get it before until I really started to think about this. And then I thought, oh my gosh, this statement is true. And I fully believe it is. Then what that means is that every networking trainer is teaching it all wrong. They're teaching prospecting wrong. And I know that sounds like a bit arrogant for me to say this, but if you read that statement, okay, you are either punished or rewarded for whatever you did before network marketing. So what the hell does this mean? Okay, first of all, let's reflect on this statement. Did any of you, when you read the statement, have a sort of aha, right now on the statement? Did you feel like that something clicked, or that you understood what is going on? I mean, when Eric Worre said this, I never clicked. But then when I started looking into it, I started to understand what he was talking about. But let's dive in a little bit deeper. Here's why you hear people at the front of the stage, and you hear the results, and they tell you exactly what they did and what they said, but at the end of the day, it doesn't work for you. Okay? Now, I know this is still a little bit confusing, but I'll be interested to know if how many of you actually get it. So here's the deal. If your warm market knows that you are a successful business person, almost any business opportunity script will work. Okay. Do you know which type of people I like working with in network marketing? It's normally people are saying, oh, we need to look for network marketers to bring them into the business. Okay, but the people that I like to bring into the business are those people that have never done network marketing before. I love bringing them in because they don't have a lot of the issues that people like you and I have, or the general network marketing industry have, right? Now, when I changed over from the other company that I was with, people were probably thinking, because they probably wouldn't have said it to my face, they were probably thinking, yeah, I wonder how long she's going to stay in that place. And I'm sure you've had that. Maybe you were in a few other companies before. So you get what I'm saying. But here's the deal. If your market knows you are a successful business person, and if you take the time to learn the skills to build a networking business, and you never lose sight of what you've got there, okay, you'll be able to build whatever you want. You need to start positioning yourself in people's minds as a successful business person, especially when it comes to your warm market. And when this happens, you'll get to a spot where you can almost say anything. Okay, so sometimes on my webinars, what I've put across maybe, and I've just, I don't know, I had this breakthrough this morning because what I've put across is, I'm finding it difficult why people are finding what I'm telling them that they can't use it, because it's working for me, but it might not work for you. Okay, and so this is why I spent the whole of Saturday putting a presentation together, which I scrapped, and I decided this is what I'm going to be talking to you about. Okay, so when this happens, as I was saying, you'll get to a spot where when people see you as this professional person, you can just say anything to them, obviously with the understanding that you have to be ethical, right? I mean, I'm sure I don't have to tell you that, but if the people that you're going to see you as a successful business owner, a successful network marketer, a successful even plumber, or a CEO, almost anything will work. Okay, and see, here's the problem: that a person, instead of identifying their history as the reason they created success, okay, they will identify it as the script. Aha. So did you get that? I mean, if you understand what I just said to you now, you're not going to question, you're now going to question everything that you've ever been taught. Okay, so let me say that again. Someone who has created and positioned themselves in the mind of their warm market as a successful business person can use almost any script and can recruit people into their marketing business. Now, the fallacy is that they'll get up on stage and they'll say, all I said was this, all I did was this, and for 85 to 95% of the audience, it doesn't work, okay? I mean, this is big. So you see, it's not their fault. They're not trying to screw you over. Those guys that get on the stage and they're talking about how successful they were and these were the scripts that they were using, they're not trying to screw you over. They're not trying to lie to you. Okay, they just haven't identified whether you are punished or rewarded before you join the network marketing company. They don't know you. You don't know. No one has ever told you this. And that is why you hear, oh my gosh, I heard that script that Joe used and I've just got to go out there and use it. I got to try it out. And you try it out on the warm market, and that's never seen you as a successful business owner, and guess what? It doesn't work, okay? I haven't seen anyone teach this before because they haven't come to grips that it is not the script, okay? Now, there are good scripts and there are not so good scripts, but you are not positioned in the mind of your warm market as a successful person, most of your scripts aren't going to work. Okay, so that is from the business aspect of it. They will, if they see you as an expert in the products that you are selling, then it becomes a different story. Okay, so here's some job titles. Now, let me have a look here. See, let's say, for instance, you're a bodybuilding expert. Okay, so you're in the gym and you're working and you're an expert in your field and you're an expert in your product line and you're selling health and wellness. Then any product script will work. Okay, because why? People see you as an expert in that field. But if you were the same person in the gym eating a dozen donuts every day, not looking and feeling good, then no product script will work for you, to your warm market. So we're still talking about the warm market, to people that you know, okay? And here's the reality. They have already positioned you in the place which isn't in concurrent to what you're selling, whether it's a product or a business. They've already positioned you. So it doesn't matter what script you use or what line you use, that's written in all these big books that are sold out there, or the top earners standing there telling you that this is the scripts that you must use. If that person has not placed you as that professional person in their mind, your script will not work on them. Okay, so here's some examples. For instance, I always talk like this, and there are people on the call that have been in conversation recently with me and are new in the business, and I'll say, like, I'm doing this thing and I'm going to run with it hard, and I'm doing it with or without you, but I'd love you to be with me on this. So do you want to run with this with me? You know? So no mention of comp plan, no mention of products, no mention of how to earn the car, no mention of anything. And if you're positioned correctly and you're positioned in that awesome place, and most people aren't, then you're going to be able to do this. And guess what? It will work. Okay? It does work. It has worked. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. But you might be saying, yeah, it will work for some of you, but what about the rest? Okay? You see, this is the key. This is the stuff that needs to be discussed, and this needs to be spoken about a little bit more. When someone comes into network marketing and they are literally laughed at by their families, I mean, I'm sure that some of you have experienced that. I mean, there are people on the call that have discussed this with me. And why do the families say, oh no, how are you going to do that, you know? Or are you kidding me? You getting into that business? Why? Because you have not been positioned in their mind. So I was thinking about this, and a lot of people were telling me about families mocking them or laughing at them. Now, when I came into network marketing, my family didn't do that because I was already positioned. They knew that I was a go-getter and someone that when I put my head down, I could achieve whatever I set out to do. Even though I still failed in different certain ventures that I took on previously. Okay, so even though that happened, they knew that I was a go-getter, and they knew that I would work my butt off and I would make things happen. But if you are not associated with anything that is business orientated, then you're going to get those laughs and those sniggers and those things that people that think that what you're doing is impossible, that you can't do it, and not take you seriously because you're not positioned in your mind. So what about this? Hey, I'm doing a side project to make some extra money, and I would love your support in checking out the product. I think it could be good for you. Now think about the difference. Most network marketers, regardless of their history, because they've never been trained on this, regardless of their history, will approach people and they'll say, I'm doing this business, why don't you come in with me? And because they've not been positioned as a business person, the answer would almost all the time be no, because that person doesn't see the other person as a business person. Okay, so think about this and take your mind out of being a network marketer. Let's say you know a person who is packing bags at Pick and Pay, and one day this person starts baking cookies, and she comes to you and she says, hey Jack, I'm doing a side project to make some extra money, and I would love your support in checking out the product. It really tastes good. Okay, are you going to laugh at that? Are you going to, totally reject that? No. You're going to say, okay, what's the product? Now, okay, just give me 1 second here. Can everybody still hear me? Because I've got someone saying, I can't hear you. What happened? Can everybody hear me? Can you put your hands up? Anybody out there still? Can you hear me now? Has it come back? Can you hear me? Okay, are we all still there? Can I see a show of hands if you can all hear me now? Okay, so most of you can still hear me. Looks like I disappeared for a while. Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully this is still recording. We could catch up on the parts that we've missed. Okay, so what I'm basically saying here, now you just think about it. I don't have to go through your CV with you. You'll know. You can ask yourself the question. You've been associated with. Have you been associated with success in business and been a professional? And if you haven't, then this way, okay, will work so much better than you leading with the business. So, so for me, if I know I've been saying lead with the business, but just to give you another example, okay, let's have a look at Steve Jobs, okay, right at the very beginning. He's pitching Apple to his riff-raff gang, who are all very, very smart dudes, right? Had he created $1 million company at that stage? Had he created success at that point? No. But he was still positioned in their mind as a go-getter. So are you seeing the difference? So for instance, if Steve Jobs joined network marketing, he would go to his friends and he could say, hey dudes, you know how flippant and serious I am, you know I'm a rock star, and I'm doing this thing and I think you should do it too. He could totally pull that off because he was already positioned in their minds, even though he hadn't created success, he was there, he was positioned. Okay, so does that make sense? I'm hoping that makes sense to everyone and that I haven't lost you all again. Looks like it's fine for now. Okay, so here's what I'm saying. If you haven't been associated with anything to do with business for your warm market, then I suggest that you do not lead with the business. Okay, it doesn't mean that you can't talk about the business. It will come eventually, but you need to get in. The first and most important step is to get in with the person so that they realize, and even if it means with the product, we've spoken on previous webinars, there are different ways that you can get, so you can get the person to taste the product without waiting a whole month or 2 months or 3 months. Okay. So now guess what? If you've pitched to a couple of MLM companies, if you've pitched a couple of MLM companies to your friends and family, what has happened? I know that there are 2 people on this webinar that have told me that they've experienced this. What has happened? Okay, the truth is that they become immune to your money message. They are immune to it. You can't talk to them in any effective manner about making future money, period. Okay, in this scenario, if you want to recruit your friends, your warm market, you are literally going to have to show them your pay slip, basically. Okay, because that's what comes with the mindset of people when it comes to you having pitched a whole lot of MLM companies. You could try saying like, oh, well, we got a new comp plan. It doesn't matter. You could say we got a new product that's going to make a lot of money. It doesn't matter. They are immune, and you know this is true, but no one has ever told you this. They are not going to say it to you. When you pitch them the next MLM company, instead, check this out. Okay, I know that you have zero interest in the business, but you might like the product. Okay, so some of you are thinking, Anne, I want business builders. And of course, Anne here also wants business builders. And I've been saying, build a business. And you're thinking, yeah, you know, yeah, okay. Now you're telling me to focus on the product. Well, here is what's cool about this. It only matters. Okay, so we all want business builders. The secret is it only matters that you get eyeballs on the presentation. What you say to them before won't dictate their decision. Okay, so let me say that again. It only matters that you get eyeballs on the presentation, be it a link, a document, a website, a CD, a book, whatever. No matter what it is, it only matters that you get eyeballs on the tool that you're using, and believe me, what you say to them before doesn't dictate their decision. Okay, I have people in my warm market that don't like network marketing at all. They hate it, and that's okay, and we move on. But when I approach them, with the, I know you have zero interest in this type of business, but they came back to me once they'd looked at the presentation, and they said, well, why do you think that we won't have any interest in this business? Why did they do that? Because once they read the document and they saw the video, it doesn't matter what I said, that I know that they have no interest in the business because they made their own decision at the end of the day. So it could be positive or negative. It's still that your main objection is to get them to see your presentation, be it whatever it is. Okay, now if you've created testimonials with the products, then you'll be able to also talk to your cold market much easier. So we've been talking about getting lots of testimonials together, and this is going to make your life easier. So you need to realize this and make it easier for you to talk to your cold market. And we don't have the time to go through the cold market, but imagine creating testimonials that you could use when talking to your cold market. They're local, they're about you, about people that you know. One thing is, if you don't know someone, then you show them your pictures and they say, well, I don't know if I can do this. And then you say, well, I went to my warm market and I got 8 out of 10 on the product, And then they say, what? So there's a way of talking to people once you've determined. So if where you're positioned with that person will determine the script that you will use with that person, and so of course if you're not positioned as a business builder, you're not going to go out there and lead with the business and recruit 8 and 10 people. It's just not going to happen because of your past. But if you build a strong product testimonial and you lead with the product and you have a good product, which we do, your strength would then be to focus on the product. And if you do this, you're going to build an army, because guess what? 80 to 95% of the people in your downline also don't have a past or a history of success. Okay, so I hope that you caught that, and I hope that you really get this. What I just did is I transferred your mind into a multidimensional way of thinking. Okay, you see the whole time we've been talking about you, but I've taught you that something could dictate the success of your 80 to 95% of your group. Now, I need you to take that away with you and to use it and to think it through. And if you want to chat to me afterwards about that, I mean, let's do it. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so the question then is it too late? Okay, what about those people that you've already pitched incorrectly? Example, okay, I'm a guy that sells ice cream every day, and I sell it to these people that come out of their work in their lunchtime. And then one man comes often, and so one day I pitched the business to him, but he didn't take me seriously. I don't understand why. Okay, so are you getting this? So go back to those people, say, remember that business I spoke to you about? Well, I know it's not for you, but I know you would love the product. Check it out. I would love your support and appreciate it either way. Or you could use the disarming update, like, I know that this business is not for you, but, you know, this weekend I spent time with, 100 entrepreneurs, and I've been having such a blast, and I was thinking that maybe you know someone who wants to earn some extra money. You see, go back to the most important thing here is that your focus is on getting eyeballs onto the presentation. We've got the webinars that go on during the week. We've had a bit of a hassle with this GoToWebinar thing. I might need to change platforms, but get your people to see the presentation, the business presentation. That's all you want. You want them to see something in there. And if it's a no, it's a no. We throw away the empty oyster and we carry on searching for those pearls. And now you'll need to learn how to do that. But at least now you've got a starting point that's based on your own history. Okay. So let me end off by giving you one last secret that maybe you haven't realized. Okay, most of you don't like going out there talking to your cold market, and we haven't covered much of the cold market. Well, here's something to think about. Your cold market should be easy. Why? Because they don't know your history. You can be anyone to them. So the way you dress and present yourself, the way you talk, the terminology that you use is very important so that they can position you as the knowledgeable, successful business person, and then you're A for away. Okay? And remember, once you've gotten them to view your presentation, and that is whatever you feel works for you, it could be a Probeach document, it could be the VSI Anthem video, whatever it is, then you need to get your prospect to commit to a date and a time that they would have looked at your link or your document and follow up, because follow up is very important and normally the downfall of most people. So the bottom line is that if you work out how if you can work out how the person sees you, you can work out the best script to use on that person. So I hope this webinar has opened up a few doors and you can now see a bit clearer when it comes to following scripts. Don't try and follow all the scripts that make you sound like you're reading it from a piece of paper. Don't say scripts that make you feel uncomfortable and you just can't get the genuine emotional feeling in them. Just look at how the person sees you and then adapt your script accordingly. And that's really how simple it is. Okay, so I just wanted to say thank you for joining me this evening. If you have any further questions, there's my email address. Until next time, have a wonderful Sunday evening and goodbye for now.